What's shaking, baby? Oh, it feels good to be home, baby. We are back. Welcome. Episode 1 of the Blue Podcast. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. Many of you at home are probably saying to yourself, where has he been? What has he been up to? What has the Blue Adonna been doing? These are all great questions, and have no fear. Fear not. Rather, all your questions will be answered. In fact, all of your strawberry dreams will come true. Let's listen. I don't want to spill on this laptop, so we're going to listen over here. Oh, just as the air conditioning comes on. Yes, we're back in a white-walled, quasi-professionally lit studio. The Blue Podcast, Episode 1, a starry-eyed encounter. Cheers, baby. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten where I came from. Is it coffee? Is it tea? No. It's a pink monster. Ooh, that filled it to the brim. Oh, no. Kind of splashed up into my eye there. Dude, I don't know if you guys have tried different flavors of Monsters. I don't know which camera to look at. Dude, I got a multi-camera setup. This is insane. I'm about to be in, like, Radio City Music Hall doing this thing. You like my shirt? Wheat swatter. Nah, wheat solder. It is music, instruments, and pro audio. Yep. 1979. Tonight we're gonna party like it's 1979. Oh, let's go. Dude, I'm in the zone. I'm so happy. We're back with the pod. I love the pod. Anyways, first up on the list, I'd like to give you guys a little update on where my family and I have been. Right? My family consists of about 5 beings. People isn't really fair considering, 20, 40, 60% of them have 4 limbs. My family consists of myself, Anne, Ghost, Cosmo, and Elaine. Ghost is our dog. Cosmo and Elaine, sweet kitty cats. Sweet kitty cats. And we ventured long across the country. It took us 5 days. We moved from Ohio to Utah. And I know many of you may be wondering, why? Why, John? Why did you move across the country? Well, it was always my wife's dream to move out west, and quite frankly, it was inevitable. It truly was as if all of the stars aligned. Just take that in for a moment. That's beautiful. Thank you. I just came up with it right now. But no, what was actually amazing was we went from Ohio. We visited, I can count them right now. We went from Ohio to Indiana, where I got this shirt, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska. Oh, Nebraska. Dude, that state goes on forever. The only thing longer than that state is 2 of those states put together, right? If you had 2 Nebraskas put together, that'd be it. It'd be over. You would never make it through. I heard Pennsylvania is a pretty long one to drive through as well. But then we ventured north on up to Wyoming. We met my sister there. She doesn't live there, but she does. She wanted to travel up there for us. It was so good. Ghost loves my sister with all of his husky, 75% husky, 25% German Shepherd heart. And then we arrived in Utah. We spent 2 days in Wyoming, and it was cathartic, dude. I was driving a 10-foot U-Haul, and it didn't have Bluetooth. I didn't know any of the radio stations, obviously, because I was in a bunch of different states. It didn't have cruise control, and I had to drive about 6 to 8 hours a day. Oh, it couldn't exceed 75 miles an hour. So with all that in mind, I had to drive about 6 to 8 hours a day, going 75 at the max. So it was really just me, God, and the road. It was pretty nice. It was incredibly cathartic. And now here we are. We made it. We've almost been here 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I love Utah. Favorite parts about Utah, thank you for asking. There'd have to be, when we first got here, we got In-N-Out. And listen, I got some things about to say about In-N-Out. One, don't go out east. Stay here in the west. It's so weird. I'm now in the west. I'm in the wild, wild west, baby. I'm like a cowboy. In-N-Out ought to stay out here, right? Gives people a reason to get out of their house. It's like when Tom Cruise comes out with a movie. You're going to get up and you're going to go see it. Have I seen the new Mission Impossible? No. Am I going to go see the new Mission Impossible? No. Did a lot of people see it? I know of like 3 people who saw it, and that's a lot considering not a lot of people go to the movies. Regardless, we went to In-N-Out in the first night, and it was glorious. It was tremendous. We've been there twice, all right? You got to get the 3x3. That's 3 burgers, 3 cheeses. What else is good? They got some kind of chilies. I don't know if they were banana peppers. I don't know if they were jalapenos. I do know that they were yellow, and I do know that they complemented an animal-style burger tremendously. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Just whatever you get there, unless you get something for your dog, get it animal style. That's the style to be, baby. Animals. They're great. And I don't know why they call it animal style, but you definitely look like an animal when you're eating it. My wife and I, we each got animal style burgers. I got 3 3x3s. I only ate 2 of them. She ate another one. And then get the Neapolitan shake, right? You got vanilla, you got chocolate, you got strawberry. Don't choose between chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry. It's a lie that the pie can't be any bigger. The pie can be bigger, and you can have the whole thing. And you can get the whole thing with the Neapolitan shake, all right? If anyone ever asks you to make a decision, either A or B, always choose C, which is probably both of them. I'm not saying... I digress. Shout out Tenedos Music. I'm going to interrupt this little Utah segment and give a shout out to my good friend. In my phone, his contact is Nikki Liv. All right? In his phone, my contact is probably just John. It's probably John Britt. That was what kids called me back in grade school. It was all one word. John Britt. John Britt. John Britt. What they would call me now, I don't know. Sitting in this white-walled... Oh, man, can you hear my voice echo? I hope not. We should really work on that. Guys, can we work on that, soundproofing this up? Thank you. Do you like my chair? And oh, dude, I'm just so excited to be back with the pod. Shout out Tenedos Music. It's at I am Tenedos. Tenedos. All right? He's been putting out some bangers. He just put out Electric. I'm flying back to the 614. I don't really know what faux is, but that's not the point. What exactly is pho, right? Everyone gets it. Everyone eats it, but I don't even know what it is. All right. But then you have all these. How is that? I got to digress again. I'm going back to Columbus sometime in July. All right. Will you get a podcast from Columbus? Probably not, because I'm not going to bring all this equipment. Will you get a podcast after Columbus talking about Columbus? Most certainly you will. I'm going there for a couple days. We're working on some bangers. He's going to release them. He's going to have 26 songs out, hopefully by the end of 2025. 26 songs by 2026, right? Go follow him. Give him a couple listens. Don't just give him one listen. Listen to My Last Day. Listen to Electric. You better be listening to Sarah. Pull up my location. I'm in India. I could never lie, girl, I'm India. That's a good one. Then Electric, it is We in a Test, a Whipping Electric. That's another banger. What else has he got? Living on my last day, yeah. What else is there? Dude, I should know. I mixed all of them. At least helped him mix all of them. What is the other one? Dude, there are some other good ones. Those are the first 3 that come to mind because that was his first one. Oh, dude, Sushi Girl. This is what you got to do. Guys, gentlemen, listen up. If you got yourself a girl you want to swoon, right? You got yourself a girl you want to woo. Here's all you got to do. Number one tip for picking up chicks. Text her or call her when you see her in person. If you're working at a laundromat, if you're working at a restaurant, wherever your place of employment is, right? Go up to this girl. Be a man about it. Ask her, you want to go get some sushi? Nay. Tell her, we're going to go get some sushi. All right? Then, she gets in the car, you pick her up, you both look good, she probably smells good, you may or may not smell good, your car probably doesn't smell good. You're driving and you say, hey, I'm going to pick the playlist if that's all right with you. She'll probably agree. I don't know. I don't know who this girl is and I don't know who you are, but she might agree. Play Sushi Girl by Tenedos. All right? Once that song starts bumping, right? Once y'all roll up to that Wasabi parking lot, once y'all order your I don't know, I don't really get sushi, so I don't really know what they have there. I could read the lyrics to the song, but I won't. Once you get there, she heard that song, she heard that rap at the end, she heard the female vocal sample throughout. She's yours, man. Lock her down. Put a ring on her right there. And you know who you can thank? Tenedos. I guess I gotta thank Tenedos. All right, back to Utah. In and out, go there, get it. It's tremendous. Told you my order. A couple other things that I've been loving about Utah. We take Ghost for a hike almost every single day. Because we took him for about 3 hikes, and then I heard him upstairs all while Ann was at the farmer's market whining. And it turns out he just wanted, we can't even say the word around him, right? There are some words, I don't know if any of you dog owners have figured this out, but some things you just can't say around your dog. I hope you can't hear me, so I'll whisper him into the mic and I'll get a little closer to you. Come here. Can we zoom in? No, we don't have that option. All right, there we go. Zoom on in. A couple words that we can't say around my dog. Yunch. In the ghost vocabulary, L's are Y's. So, yunch, pay. Oh, also, sometimes there aren't L's if they follow a consonant. So, play is pay. Lunch is yunch. We can't say either one of those words. We can't say walk. We can't say bed. Oh, we have to say the B-E-D. Or sometimes we have to say the B-E-D. Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey. How do you pronounce it? We don't know. How do you pronounce Lana Del Rey? There's no way of knowing. Some questions just can't be answered by man, and that's okay. Embrace the mystery. Bask in it. Why can't you say certain words around your dog? I don't know. What does it mean to be animal style? Heck, you got me. Why was it called Sushi Girl and not Sushi Boy? In order to know that, follow Tenedos and ask him. All right, so we're here. We're probably here to stay. We're loving it. We are doing fantastic. If you can't tell, we are doing fantastic. I really hope you can see my shirt. I hope my laptop isn't in the way. But if it is, that's all right. It pains me to say it, but I believe it was. Anyways, next up, album openers. I wanted to talk to you guys, since the episode is called A Starry-Eyed Encounter, about what made me choose this song. It's the first song to release under the Blue Adonna. I will come out with a video that sort of explains the genesis of the idea that is A Starry-Eyed Encounter, but for now, I think I should speak about album openers. I think an album opener can really... It does serve as an introduction, given that it's the first song. But even more so, I think it doesn't have to encapsulate the entirety of the album, right? It should just... It should be like an appetizer, right? There should be some energy. It should definitely be a quality song. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't have to be a be-all, end-all for what the album actually is. And I feel like A Starry-Eyed Encounter is a great introduction, right? It's bumping. It's thumping. It's a banger, if I do say so myself. But above all, if I may be so bold, I think it's a really well written song. I really didn't like it when I first made it, but enough people said, "Oh, that's a good one." And all while I was editing it, I thought, "Man, this is a good one." And I was really grateful. And the whole theme of this being a story is really encapsulated in that song. It was inspired by, as you can see, there's a video game right there called the Sly Collection. Can we zoom in on it? Oh yeah, I forgot we're not able to do that. Anyways, it was inspired by this video game called Sly 2 Band of Thieves. Now, Sly Cooper is the best video game of all time. Sly 2 in particular. And if you've ever played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to play you guys the intro video to A Starry-Eyed Encounter, which was the episode in this game that inspired the title of my debut single. Pretty impressive if you ask me. Thank you. It was pretty well thought out, but hey, I wasn't the one who thought of it. Or was I? Here we go. I know I could tell you every word here, but I'll spare you the details.
Another clockwork part had surfaced in India, so the boys and I loaded up the van and zeroed in on our next target, a mysterious spice lord known as Rajan. A self-made man who grew up poor on the streets of Calcutta, he started his life of crime selling illegal spices in the black market, eventually growing his small outfit to a sizable operation, and earning himself a seat in the prestigious Claw Gang. He's since crowned himself Lord of the Hills, and while he goes to great lengths to convince others of his royalty, it's mostly to convince himself. True to form, he's holding a lavish ball in his newly purchased ancestral palace. The reason? To show off his latest acquisition, the Clockwork Wings, the symbol of my enemy. If you saw the wings silhouetted against the night sky, it was already too late for you. Especially
if your name was Cooper. Oh, sorry, I had to.
Rajan believes displaying the wings will bring him prestige, and maybe they will.
But they're also
bringing me.
Oh, yeah. Stop. Oh. So that was, dude, I knew if I made it to that part of the game, then it was a success. It was just, that's only the second episode, but I was well aware that all I got to do is make it past the Black Chateau, and then we're in, because you couldn't replay any of the levels, which made them a lot more valuable in a way, because in the previous game and in the two following games, you could replay the episodes and the levels without having to go through the whole story, but you couldn't do that with Sly 2. At least I don't think you could. If you can, I mean, this is news to me. I've beaten that game like, I don't know. I've probably 100% of the game like 7 times, maybe more, but I've played through it and just not gone back and like beaten it. Maybe realistically, maybe 250 times. I don't know. I have no idea. But it was my all-time favorite game. That was my all-time favorite episode. And really, I always knew I wanted songs to sing in the lonely hour to be... I always thought it would be my second album. I didn't really have a grasp on... Typically, I thought that my first album would be called The Blue Adonna, but that just didn't feel right now. And I just always knew, man, it would be awesome if songs to sing the lonely hour. The first song was A Starry-Eyed Encounter, and here we are. It was. It did not happen at all as I imagined it, but it still happened nevertheless, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And it just brings me so much joy. Like, I actually feel like I'm doing I really being called out here with Anne, and meaning God calling us out here. It's just such a blessing, and it's so exciting, and we are happy out here. I was actually talking to Nick earlier today, and he said, well, you're happy out here. And I wasn't entirely certain how to answer it.
We apologize for the technical difficulties we are experiencing here at the Blue Podcast. Give us just a moment and we'll have things back online. Thank you.
Did we fix it? Okay. Sorry, I guess we were having some technical difficulties here at the Blue Podcast, but nevertheless. Speaking of album openers, some of my favorites. Well, these were just the first ones that came to mind that I thought serviced their particular album very well. First would be Heavy Dirty Soul off of Blurry Face. Blurry Face came out at a very primitive time in my the formation of my adolescence. I don't know if primitive would be the correct word there. Sometimes I use words and I'm not really sure what they mean. But I do know that it feels right. So I just say it. Anyways, this album came out when I was, 2015. I was 16. I was 16 and I had just started making music. And this album, retrospectively, the album is held up very well. And I think it's a very, it probably should be placed on the pantheon of alt pop albums, right? I don't know what pantheon means either. So we'll say it should be placed on the Mount Rushmore of alt pop albums. And Heavy Dirty Soul is such an electric opener. There's just this energy to it, man. Whatever Nexus preset they used for that, is very, very impressive, I must say. Number 2 on the list, Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. If you've ever seen that song live, I've seen enough live performances on YouTube. I don't know if they played it when Ann and I went to see the Killers in Nashville. It's track 1 off of Hot Fuss by the Killers, their debut song off their debut album. Technically, I don't think it was the first song, but it was the first opener on any of their albums. And that one is just, if I were you, what I would do is I would go back and listen to all 5 of these songs. And then I'm going to put 6. I'm going to put A Starry Encounter on the list. I'm going to do that right now. Done. It's on the list. 3rd on the list, Born to Die, Lana Del Rey. We don't know how to pronounce her name, so we're just going to stick with how the majority of people pronounce it. Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey. This one, I'm noticing a pattern. I don't know if you guys are either. It's as if the first song, the opener, couldn't have gone anywhere else. And that was one of the reasons I picked A Starry-Eyed Encounter to be the first song, was because, well, at least retrospectively, I don't know where else it would have gone. It couldn't go anywhere but be the first one. So it's as if it was meant to be that. Very cool. Born to Die, granted it is the title of the album, so it does make sense. But sometimes people put that like last or second to last. And I don't think the art of making an album is a lost art at all. I actually think if you don't make albums, you will suffer as an artist. And I think I was going through that because there was no sort of framework to put all of these necessary pieces of content given the landscape that we're in. If I didn't have the goalpost that is an album, it's just too much everywhere. Like all of this stuff is all over the place, and sort of the thing that makes it a current is, like the edges of the river, whatever the thing's called, was the fact that I knew I was going towards an album. So it's like everything else sort of falls into place and the river can run. But otherwise you're sort of just this like pond. And I feel it was well said by Jack Antonoff that a great single without an album is a long hallway that leads nowhere. And I totally agree with that. But also even more so as an artist, I would say that if you don't have something to facilitate and to drive, you need that necessity in a way to drive the content that you have to make. You have to have a clear vision of the thing in order to develop. The toughest part, I think, nowadays is that you have to develop in front of people, right? So say this isn't my best podcast. It's the first one. It can be easier with songs to fail in private and you only show the great things that are public. The tough part about developing is you have to throw all the paint at the wall and let other people see it. And that can be scary, but the way I personally counteract that fear is, if you don't grow. So what's scarier? Failing, discerning your failure, and then growing, or not growing at all, right? And one, to me, not growing at all has become so much scarier than just look at me. Like, make a fool of yourself in front of people. Who cares? Like, I personally am a goofy guy anyway, and it's pretty exciting to me to be able to show my personality to people online now. Man, I'm on one right now. But you just have to be, you have to be willing to put yourself out there and maybe get like hurt or burned or whatever the thing is. But then it's such a catch-22 because, you know, in the future, right, it's in retrospect that the preservation of these moments becomes even more valuable. So it's very, very, it's just, I view these, my advice to anyone who wants to try a creative endeavor is to view the things you're creating in two ways. One, they're investments. So this might not pay dividends for 5 years. It might not pay dividends for 10 years. And I mean temporally, physically. You might not make money off the thing, or you might not see any sort of growth. It's sort of delayed, right? It's because it'll come exponentially at a certain point once a great amount of work has been invested. Sorry, I know I'm not talking about album openers, but I think this is a pretty good tangent. The second way to view it is that it is not. There was this great quote. Can we put it up here? I took a picture of it. Thank you. That talks about that the mountain is the means and the man is the end. So if you view all of these things, this pain, this patient endurance obtains all things. If you view these sort of failures as things that are refining you, and I don't mean that they're going to make you like glorious or glamorous or things of that nature. I mean, you view it as an opportunity to grow in love, right? And that's really what I like. That's all I can give you right now. That is my heart. I'm going to put my heart into every piece of content I can. I'm going to put my heart into every mix I can. I'm going to put my heart into every single thing that I do and that I'm able to do, because that's how I can best serve at this moment. And so the results are already here. Posting it is the result. It's not like, oh man, my picture only got 8 likes. Like, if you're looking at that, you're looking at it the totally incorrect way. You have to be okay. There's such a joy that comes with, man, I gave, like when I've been posting vlogs, or even when I edit this podcast or whatever the thing is, I gave that my all, right? That made me such a better editor. That helped me, that taught me this lesson. That taught me that lesson. And then the lessons are preserved in the content you post, right? Or even, I gave that my all, period, right? I offer that up to the heavens. I offer that up to the Lord. Whoever you worship, whoever you serve, I offer that up to you. And let's keep rolling, baby. Man, I'm on one. All right, other great album openers. The 1975, by the 1975, off the 1975, the first one. It was just the introduction into this world that, even though they had some EPs come out before, the Go Down, Soft, I mean, it was just, because then they did it more across. Well, they only did it off the first 3, but it just became, it was the introduction to the thing. So that's why I picked that one. Even though I like A Brief Inquiries better, I will pick the first one because it was the first one. Then maybe one of my all-time favorites, Do I Want to Know? Such a good song, dude. I didn't like Are You Mine, which is the second song. Okay, Do I Want to Know is by the Arctic Monkeys. Just Arctic Monkeys, sorry. Off their album AM. Alex Turner has admitted that was inspired by Velvet Underground's. I think they had an album called VU. This song, I mean, it's an anthem, dude. It's so simple. One of my coworkers who I used to work with at the pool, he was like, dude, I hate how repetitive and simple that song is. And I'm like, dude, but if you like that melody and you like that 4 on the floor, those overdubbed, dude, so good. It's just, you're in for a treat. And once again, I feel like Do I Want to Know off this list is one of the songs that maybe could have gone elsewhere, but it works beautifully as the first song off this album. And so then last but not least, 6 on the list, Starry Encounter by the Blue Adonna. Oh, let's go. I'm on this list. I have an album opener. Maybe I should just go right into the plan then, because this ties in perfectly with it. The thing, you guys have to understand, the thing I always wanted to do, it feels really good to finally tell someone this. Oh my goodness, it feels like I'm coming out of the closet. I swear, like, I don't mean that as a slight against anyone. It feels like I can finally be myself. Like, I remember thinking, oh, this is so cathartic. I remember thinking that if I could just go somewhere and be myself and release all the stuff I want to release on the internet, and not in a really weird way, not have to interact with the people who are seeing it, at least not for a substantial amount of time. And then A Starry-Eyed Encounter came out the day we moved into our house in Utah. And I just think that's just, it's just providential. It's so encouraging. It's so exhilarating. I am so excited. And I hope that permeates. I don't know if you can tell that I'm just in a stupid good mood. But I always thought that I would do it the old-fashioned way. And by the old-fashioned way, I mean go play shows in front of 6 people for 6 years, traveling America. But now I see that that definitely might not be the best utilization of my talents. And that was something that was really difficult for me to accept, because everyone, like when I first decided, I remember it was Thanksgiving of, when was that? It would have been Thanksgiving 2012, or right around Thanksgiving 2012, maybe October. I was at my Aunt Tamara's house, and Jordan McVeigh, what up, JD McVeezus, and Anthony Herman, Tony, what up, Tony, showed me 21 Pilots, and they played at the LC in like October of 2012. So yeah, I guess it would have had to have been November. And the first thought that came to my mind when I saw a sold out show at the LC by people who I had never heard of was, and sort of who did it independently, even though I think they had just gotten signed at that time. It was all but independent. I thought, man, so it isn't just the Justin Timberlakes of the world who can do this, right? That was the first thought I had. I vividly remember thinking that, and it was such a dinner bell that rang. And then I was just like, that's what I want to do. So all that happened was I misinterpreted the fact that their means were my means. Damn. What a lesson. I told that to my mom the other day, and I said, you can't live someone else's life, right? You have to. It's what Thor's mom says in Endgame, and I told her that. And the reason I'll use a movie is because I think it's just articulated so well in that narrative, is everyone fails at who they're supposed to be. The true test of a person is how well they succeed at being who they are. And I just feel like I'm basking in the glow of who I am here. That's why it feels like, I don't know a better way to explain it than it feels like I'm finally just like myself. And there's such a weight off my shoulders. And now I can just run. I can run for the hills, man. I can just go for it. Like I'm getting chased by one of the 9 ring wraiths, man. Speaking of which, that is the book I'm currently reading. The Fellowship of the Ring. New segment. Sorry, this is all kind of out of order. I apologize. I'm trying my best. But did I sufficiently explain the plan? Hang on. Before we start the second new segment called Read Any Good Books Lately, where we take a deep dive into the Blue Adonna's book collection, I will explain my plan to the best of my abilities. And by saying I have a plan, I mean I have no plan. But from what I can gather, it really helps to articulate this. So I really appreciate you guys listening. Even if no one's listening right now, I have no idea. This is just great for me to get off my chest. Woo! What I think happens is a tremendous amount of output is given. A tremendous amount of value is given in private. And then eventually that is returned exponentially. It's typically what's called a Pareto distribution, but we don't need to go into the specifics of that. I just see a correlation between those two. But from what I can gather, because there are a couple people and there's actually this. There are two videos I would like to play for you guys. The first one is Seinfeld. I love you, Jerry. Dude. Here we go.
Dave Letterman, I have to say, I told him I'm writing this pilot for NBC. It was one of his year-end Christmas parties or something. Mm-hmm. He said, just make sure you fail doing exactly what you want to do. He told me that. And that's the best advice you can give someone going in a big, scary project. Make sure you fail doing it exactly the way you wanted. Because that you can live with.
Yes.
That you can live with. When it's someone else's idea that kills you, that's hard to live with.
Yeah, you'll be homicidal.
Yeah.
And so the show gets picked up.
Okay. That was just Nick. I sent you that on Instagram, or you sent that to me, or we both sent it to each other. It's so weird. Sometimes I'll have seen something on Instagram, and then someone I know will just send me it. And like after I watch it, kind of freaky, but I saw that and I agree. The things, and so the difficult part for me was how I originally conceptualized the dream. It's different than how it will be acted out to a degree. So if I can trace this all the way back to its origins, man, in high school, I'd be like a freshman and I'd be emailing bands or managers or agents or whoever, like, can I come open for you? Because I thought that was the answer. And then there was always either I didn't fit the bill, I was just one guy and I failed, or I didn't show up. There was like one time where I didn't show up and I just watched an Ohio State game, or I didn't have a social media and I didn't have a way to show people. So saying fail how you want to do it, what I want to do is I want to play shows for people, because shows are the fulfillment of these songs. They're the fulfillment of the album and the relationship with the artist and the fans. And that's always been my dream. So I had to accept that right now I don't have the means or the ability to play the shows how I want to play them, right? I could still play them and I will still play them. I'm not sure how. But I've also started to view social media as a way of playing shows, which is really cool. Like this in some ways like a performance, and it's also like you're hanging out with me. And this is how everyone consumes stuff. And I'm kind of just getting on the wagon that people have been on for years. I digress. All of this, the release of the album and all this content is building towards shows, period. The first way those shows will, in order for me to play them, I need to understand how to play them. So in order to understand how to play them, I have to play them once well. And so those will be captured in live videos through different places out west, right? So a Starry encounter live from like the Grand Canyon or wherever. There'll be different places. But then once that happens, I think there will be enough of a following I pray, dear Lord, please let there be enough of a following to go celebrate these things. It's not that I don't want to play in front of 7 people, because I will totally play in front of 7 people. It's just right now I don't really know how. I don't know if that's a lie or not, but I'm going to do some soul searching and I'll come back to you. Anyways, I'm doing all this on social media to build a social media to be able to play these shows. The way the thing to facilitate all of it, as I said before, is the release of an album. So that is where we are. And there is one other piece of content from someone else who I'm really inspired by. His name's Nacy Kystat. And let's see. One second.
I think the thing that I think about the most.
Here we go.
Now all I want is like some degree of normalcy in my life. You spend your 20s figuring it out, you spend your 30s doing it, and then you spend your 40s enjoying it. And I'm right on that threshold. I'm 40.
So the reason I chose that clip, it remained in the good old psyche. Dude, I got YouTube Premium. Shout out YouTube Premium. Anyways, that remained in the good old psyche for a while, and I had to include it. I don't fully agree with the numbers behind it, but I do think what's really important is to know that there is an order. You figure it out, you do it, you enjoy it. You can do all those things at the same time. You can figure it out and do it and enjoy that all at the same time. But there is sort of it's a wave, right? And I'm right at the beginning. or at least I feel like I'm right at the beginning, and it's so invigorating, dude. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. I hope that translates. And I feel as though now that I can really be myself, that can be translated. So it's just, wow, this feels a lot different. This feels correct. And those were just ways of me trying to explain that if you got to fail in public, right? Figuring it out is something that happens publicly. Seinfeld was a stand-up. Then eventually he got the gig at the NBC for a sitcom, and he did it, right? All these other people, like 21 Pilots, played 1,000 shows, and eventually they were at wherever they were at, the Schottenstein Center. And so I would just think, oh, I just want to do the Schottenstein Center. Well, you have to do all this. You have to do a tremendous amount of output first, right? Casey Neistat, he failed 10 years as a filmmaker and then started a daily vlog, blew up, sold his company for however much. I've just noticed all these patterns. Russ released like 100 songs and 10 projects and then finally blew up. Like, there's a pattern. You put out a tremendous amount of output that refines you into one thing. That one thing is then done consistently and communicated to people. And that is where we are now. We are in the process of the one thing being communicated and refined. And so super exciting. Another reason why I wouldn't play shows is because I really want to play in a band. Like, it's really cool to be in a band, and I would really like to be in a band. So I don't know if I just, like, when a couple of the songs that haven't been released yet, a Starry Encounter could work as one guy. And there might be parts in the show where it's just one guy. But I really want it to be a band. So the videos will likely just be me. The performances, can't say the same. Like the live performances when I come visit people. So just as a heads up, I will likely be in a band. Oh man, I would love that. I'm going to speak it forward. I don't always believe the manifesting thing, but in this case, that does feel right. That was the real reason. And that makes it make sense. That was the reason that I didn't play shows yet. It's because like a stand-up comedian can just take a mic and go on stage and make people laugh. I want it to really be an experience, and I want it to be a story because all these things are stories. Speaking of which, time for the final segment on the podcast. Read any good books lately? All right. The book I'm currently reading is The Fellowship of the Ring. You can get these really nice leather bound. They're really small print, I'll warn you, but you can get these at Target. I think you can probably get them on Amazon. And then this is actually a really nice bookmark. I don't know if you guys can see this. And I got this at the Arts Festival in Columbus in like 22 or 23 maybe. Shout out any arts festival. We also went to a vintage something this past weekend. I shot a video at it. Anyways, Fellowship of the Ring. The Hobbit is probably my favorite book. And The Fellowship of the Ring is one of my favorite books as well. What's really interesting that I didn't know about The Fellowship of the Ring is that the first half, before they get to Rivendell, I promise I won't spoil anything except the fact that they go to Rivendell and that there are two characters in it. Bilbo is technically the one who Tolkien framed it as was writing it. They get to Rivendell. They tell Bilbo their story. He writes the first half. From then on, there's a shift in tonality in the way the book is written. And Tolkien attributed that to Frodo being the one writing The Hobbit or The Fellowship of the Ring past Rivendell. So what's really interesting is the author changed the tonality and he attributed a reason to it within the world he had constructed. Super fascinating. Other things I like about The Fellowship of the Ring, Tom Bombadil is one of the craziest characters ever, right? All of a sudden, these four hobbits, sorry, I guess I'm going to spoil a lot of it, but oh well. These four hobbits are just out there trying to, make it through this forest, and they're all sleeping and getting eaten by this tree, and then all of a sudden, pow, right? This guy comes up frolicking and singing, and he's like, oh, let me just sing it a little song and then come to my house and I'll give you some tea and crumpets. What the heck is going on, man? Am I the only one who was listening to that audiobook? Andy Serkis was reading it to me and he was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what is that? I just didn't remember that part that they almost got eaten by a tree. Am I the only one who thinks that's nuts? And am I the only one who thinks that let's see, I'm on chapter, I think 6, maybe 6 or 7 at the house of Tom Bombadil. And I feel like one of those chapters could have totally been cut out. right? Because you have Bilbo's party, which is great. Then you have the Shadow from the Past, which is where the plot's really moving with the ring. And then all of a sudden, it's just like these hobbits are walking and they're doing absolutely nothing. Now, I love hanging out with them and I've enjoyed reading it. Don't get me wrong. But am I the only one who thinks that there could have been more action in the first half of the Fellowship, as well as, I'm sure when I get to it, the first half of the Two Towers, where it's just Sam, Frodo, and Gollum just walking forever and ever? That's just me. I love the book. Big Lord of the Rings fan. The Hobbit's probably my favorite book ever, and I've read Harry Potter like 100 times. But it's really good. I also love in the beginning when you get to see Bilbo, because I love hanging out with Bilbo. And really, I think that's one of the best parts about literature and fiction, is that you feel like you're in this world and you feel like you're hanging out with the characters. I love spending time with them. I know that's kind of an odd way to conceptualize it, but that's what I think when I listen or experience these books. And I hope that translates here. So, man, I think that's about it. I've rambled nonstop for 58 minutes, so that's all I got for today. Well, I do appreciate it. Tipping our hats, waving goodbye to the first episode of the Blue Podcast. Thank you for watching. Tune in next week. There will be another new episode. But until then, do your homework. Ain't no way. Did the end of the day. Mofo better come out here and show me. Ain't no way. Did the end of the day. Mofo better come out here and show me. Damn.